Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another video. Today I'm filming a review of the book Cain and Abel by Jon Matos. Now the author contacted me a while back and asked me if he could send me his book in exchange for an honest review, and that's exactly what I'm filming today. There will be no spoilers in this review, so it's quite safe to watch in case you're curious about this book. Now before I get to the review, I have to say that this book, I think it's classified as young adult, but I'm not sure if I would personally classify it as that. Yes, the characters are teens, but there's some gruesome scenes in there, some pretty cruel scenes. There's slight, case of animal cruelty in there as well. So, just figure out for yourself whether or not that is something that you can stomach. And yes, let's get to the review. Now this is book 1 in the 7 Deadly Sins series, and it's subtitled as Envy, which is exactly what you get at the core of this story. We meet Dennis Cain as a 10-year-old boy. He has just undergone this very dangerous operation, and it's basically during his recuperation time, during which he has to relearn how to talk, walk, and basically do everything, that he realizes that he's meant for greatness. Now his plan is to become a chemist, and so that would help him to come up with a cure that would help people that are suffering from the same disease as he is. But naturally, life doesn't exactly go according to his plans. Despite the support of his parents and his friend Beth, he's always dissatisfied with his life, and sort of all of his hate and rage are focused on this guy, Jason Bell. He is a jock and he seems to lead a pretty, charmed life. And yes, that's basically the gist of the story. Now, as this is a retelling of Cain and Abel's story from the Bible, as the title of the book sort of plays with that, you can basically expect, what will happen. But yes, that's the story. So the writing itself was okay. The pace was slightly off at times. There were parts of this book that really dragged and some that sort of really fast forwarded. And there's also a lot of telling instead of showing in this book, which I think, the book would benefit if it was the other way around, personally. My issue with this book actually started and ended with the characters. I thought they felt awkward, not as fleshed out as they could be, and at points they were inconsistent. And I think that, that showing instead of telling would be really useful here, because sometimes they say one thing, but the actions do not support that. And that's especially obvious with Dennis. So Dennis, as the main character, is pretty unlikable. He is bitter and dissatisfied with his life, and I think that's how he's meant to be. The author wanted him to be that way naturally. And part of that is because that's just part of his character, and I think, and then there's also the fact that he has just really been dealt a shitty life. He has gone through so much, and naturally I think that some bitterness is related to that. So throughout the book we only learn about 2 of his friends, and I honestly think that they were better friends to him than he to them. And I think what is really telling about that is, one of his friends moved away and he didn't even remember. So that's very telling, I think. And Dennis, he's very arrogant and he feels that he's better than everyone else, so I think that's pretty much understandable. He also claims that he wants to help people, but again, there's no supporting action that would actually make you think that that is actually true. He just doesn't treat people nicely. With him, it's all about me, me, me. Now Jason, who is Dennis's antagonist, we learn a lot less about him because most of the story focuses on Dennis, but what we do know about Jason at the beginning is that he's a jock, he leads a charmed life, everything is perfect, he gets a scholarship, he gets the girls, basically everything is just fine. And what we do not get to see is actually how this conflict between the 2 boys started, and I think that would be useful, honestly. But anyways, throughout the rest of the story, where Jason starts to be a bit more prominent, we get to learn that his life is far from being perfect, and yeah, he has his own issues as well, and he is slightly envious of Dennis as well. So out of the 2 main characters, it's actually Jason who has any sort of personal growth in this book. I'm slightly iffy on the timing of when that happens, because I find it unrealistic, but despite that I'm really happy that at least it happened. Because, there has to be some positivity in this book, character-wise, and I really like that. I also had problems with the parent figures in this book, especially with Dennis's parents and Beth's father. Sometimes their overprotection was just completely overboard, and I understand Dennis's parents, they came to losing him a few times, and naturally they would be really protective of him. But the way his mother reacted when she caught him home alone with Beth was just ridiculous. Seriously, you have to know your kid firstly, and then, you know, just, shouldn't you be happy that he finally brought someone home, that he has a friend? Because you had to know that he basically has no one, and that should worry you more than the fact that she's a girl, in my opinion. Anyways, but that's just, you know, whatever. But it's actually Beth's father that I thought was really weird, and I really didn't like his reactions when it comes to, you know, Dennis. First thing, when she tells him about Dennis, he completely freaks out, he grounds her and, you know, whatnot. And then when he meets him, and they barely speak, you know, they just like introduce each other, and suddenly he's fine, you know. And I honestly, my opinion was, yeah, that's just because he's disabled and you think that he's harmless. Even though that he claims that, you know, it's because, you know, he met him and he sees that he's really smart and he has been dealt a really bad hand and he needs friends and all that. I thought they were just excuses personally. So parents were annoying at points, really. And just before I finish this review, I want to touch upon the fact that there's a lot of mention of God in this book, as well as just, you know, passages from the Bible. I really like that because we do not get to see a lot of that in YA or, you know, even adult books. And I really like that. I thought it was great, and I think it showed, it fit into the story just in general. So yeah. Anyways, those are all my opinions on this book. I hope you found them useful. And if you're even slightly curious about this book, just go pick it up and enjoy it. And thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next one. Bye!